Estate planning is all about doing everything you can to take the emotion out of a very stressful process for your heirs, or even in the case of incapacitation. So doing a little bit now will save you a ton of time and heartache later. Because in order to have a healthy and wealthy retirement, you don't want to be looking over your shoulder. You don't want to be paranoid. You want to be proactive. You want to enjoy your retirement. Know that you're as prepared as you can be to respond and to protect yourself.
Welcome to the Healthy and Wealthy Retirement, where your certified retirement counselor, Mark Struthers, takes a holistic approach to retirement, going beyond finances and embracing holistic well-being. This YouTube channel will address not just the financial part of retirement, but also the social, the physical, and the emotional parts of retirement. Everything you need for healthier, a wealthier, and a happier retirement.
Welcome to the Healthy and Wealthy Retirement. My name is Mark Struthers. I'm glad you're here. Imagine you get a phone call in the middle of the night. Your grandson, granddaughter are crying. They're in trouble. They were on spring break. They were in Mexico with friends, and something happened, and now they are going to jail. And the Policia Federales won't let them leave until they pay for damages, or they're going to a very unsavory Mexican jail or prison. Now, any prison would be unsavory, but we generally think that prisons in other countries are worse. But you get the panic. You get the emotional response that people have when they get that call. That call now is often by AI. That call is done by people who are professionals, who can disguise their voices, who can act and play the part to where it was very convincing. And you, as a grandparent, a loving grandparent, are panicked. Your heart drops, and all you can think is, I have to help my grandkids. So you jump online or you go to the bank in the morning and you try to wire some funds. If you are lucky enough to maybe have a good teller at the bank or have an institution that tries to put some safeguards, electronic safeguards, and this is where when you lose that human touch, that local bank teller who knows you and maybe stops you and says, have you actually spoken to the grandchild? Did you try calling them directly? And it's understandable. Even those of us who are very careful, when it comes to emotion, all we want to do is act. All we want to do is throw something at the problem to make the pain go away. So these are real life stories. I have had many anecdotal evidence. Well, no, this is actually firsthand accounts. I was even behind a couple. I want to say it was FedEx. I don't know if they do wires. Maybe they were, I think it was FedEx, and they were mailing a package, and the story sounded very similar. So, as you might guess, our topic today is how to prevent yourself from being a victim of fraud. And it's become tougher and tougher. And with AI, it will get even tougher and tougher. So, and we also have a free checklist for those of you that subscribe to the Sona Wealth newsletter. It's called, Am I at Risk of Having My Identity Stolen or Being a Victim of Fraud? You can download it when you sign up for our wonderful newsletter that helps you have that healthy and wealthy retirement. Why are retirees prime targets? Well, especially in the post-pension world, so the majority of the assets are, I think, 60%. And we have these large IRAs, these 401k balances, these taxable accounts. It's where the money is. And fortunately, for the bad guys, The folks who have the money also often are not maybe the best equipped to handle those kind of emotional decisions. It happens to all of us. We go through cognitive declines. Anyone, whether you are in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, or 60s, can be a victim, but especially once you get into the 70s and 80s, it is tougher and tougher to keep track of stuff. It's not a statement on you as a person, but it's going to most likely happen to all of us. Very few of us, if we do live into our 80s or 90s, are going to be mentally the same person we were before. Also, as we get older, grandparents tend to have a more emotional attachment to things like grandchildren. It's understandable. Even if you're in your 20s or 30s, when emotion takes over, it is tough to make good decisions. It's why financial planning is so powerful. It's why we talk about risk and manage risk, your ability and willingness to take on risk in your portfolio, because we are managing emotions, not just the market. It's why having a financial advisor can save you so much time and hassle of selling in a panic, of helping you understand your goals and navigate the markets, just like a financial advisor can even help you navigate something like this. But that's why retirees are often targeted. And I think it's important for everyone to not cross over to paranoia. Don't go to a cabin in the wilderness unless that's your thing and have no cell or internet, and don't be a prison of your own fear, but be aware. Be aware and plan. That's the great thing about planning, is it does allow you to live your life and be as safe as possible. Nothing is perfect. You can do all the right things and still be a victim of any crime, of any kind of fraud. The scams you're most likely to see: Social Security and IRS scams. Real agencies will never call you or email you or text you for collect payments. And these fraudsters have become very advanced, because we have gotten texts or emails after we've done something, like with some sort of business. And it's almost like somehow they knew, like maybe they got a mailing list and that they were able to take advantage of that. Medicare scams: fake representatives call and ask for your Medicare number. And of course, if you're over 65, they know you're on Medicare. The grandparent scam, that's a big one, the emotional emergency call. Sweepstakes, that you have to pay to claim a prize. It's a scam. If something's too good to be true, it's a scam. Bank or brokerage houses, imposters. So I've never heard anyone from happened to Schwab, although Schwab's so big, it's surprising they haven't tried. But I have heard Fidelity, where someone claims to be from Fidelity, and they claim to be from the fraud department, and they do it to get information from you. So don't do it. If you get a call from Schwab, from any bank or institution, do not provide them with date of birth, social security numbers, addresses, account numbers, and certainly don't give them money. Get their information and get a third-party source, verified a couple times, call the main line, ask to be transferred. If they really work for those companies, you can find them by calling that company directly. Romance scams, and this one is a big one. Now, I saw this a lot. I saw this with some friends of the family. I've seen it with clients. And this is not just the elderly, although I have seen it with elderly folks. And it makes sense, especially if you're a widower or a widow, and maybe you're not quite as sharp as you used to be. It's understandable. And keep in mind, this is all these people do. Just think, you've gotten so good at your job because that's where most of your effort, day after day, like the 10,000 hours, that's where you have gotten good because you have focused on that. It's tough for us to wrap our arms around the fact that these criminals, this is all they do. They're going to get good at it. So don't be ashamed of the romance scam. And I saw some stats. They think a lot of this doesn't go reported because of shame, because of they've been swindled out. And pride gets in the way, and these criminals go on scamming. We all have need for connection. We have emotional needs. There's nothing wrong with getting wrapped up in an online romance. But please be careful. Bring in, anytime someone doesn't want you to bring in your loved ones and friends to kind of make sure things are as they should be, that should raise a red flag. And of course, phishing emails. And it's nuts how sophisticated we get these all the time. Don't click on anything unless you're 1,000% sure. And to where I have actually gotten these emails, and from people I didn't recognize, and then I start to, so I say, well, is this person working with the client? And again, we verified the person, and this just happened recently. We verified, we've got third-party information of where this person was, what firm this was, reached out to them, and they said, yeah, we didn't send it. That's not us. They're pretending to be us. Be careful. Every scam shares the same DNA. So spotting the red flags: urgency, secrecy, pressure. Urgency, secrecy, pressure. Because if you have those things, especially all three, like with the grandparents, with the grandkids being stuck in Mexico, being arrested, you're going to act on emotion. The reason financial planning works so well is because we're prepared for possible outcomes. We help you're never going to take all the emotion out of financial planning or investing, but we help make better decisions. We take out a lot of emotion because we've already thought and planned on this. So this is where the bad guys take advantage of it. If it's urgent, pause. Verify through official channels. Don't click the links in text or emails. Be skeptical of caller ID. That can be faked. Be skeptical of voices or videos. That is, especially now with AI, can be faked. Do not give remote access to your computer. And if you can, try to avoid payments via crypto, wire, gift cards. Schwab does an excellent job. Schwab has a Schwab Safe program where they have a lot of great resources. We'll provide the link in the show notes. 7 smart protection habits. Use unique passwords. This is a common sense one. Do not use the same password that don't use 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't use the same password that you have on a sticky note and on your desk where everyone can see it, including those people walking outside. Look into a password manager. I have used LastPass for, it seems like a decade. I have one master password I don't use for anything else. I keep it in a very safe place. And I have very complicated long passwords that's automatically filled in to the websites kept in LastPass. And even then, we change passwords. Turn on 2-factor authentication. And I think you could even include the authenticator apps. So we use that all the time. Anything, both for personal and professional. Long passwords that are frequently changed. 2-factor authentication. I don't know the stats, but the idea that someone, if you're doing those things, the idea that they could get past those two is pretty rare. Keep your devices and browsers updated. Keep the software updated. The software folks try to have updates that helps prevent this kind of stuff. You can also freeze the credit bureaus. Especially if you're not using credit, if you're retired, you're not applying for insurance or volunteer work or something. Plus, it's gotten easier and easier to unthaw. Or the thought, would it be a thaw? Undo the thought. But you can freeze your credit reports. Limit personal information on social media and other places. I'm amazed at how much information you can get from someone's social media website. There's no reason someone should have your exact birth date. At least not on social media. I think about even the races. I don't do as many as I used to, but when we do 5Ks or triathlons, they don't have to have your exact birth date. They certainly don't have to have your social security number. So be careful putting that stuff out there. Do something that's close, Give them a different month, a different day. In the case of our brokerage account Schwab, add a trusted contact. Someone that can help you manage these. If you are a victim of fraud, if something does happen, they can help you sort it out. Review your accounts regularly. We have down weekly. That's a lot. But if you have account aggregation software, we can generally check balances like Sona clients have. We have an app, Right Capital is a software. That's a good way of checking them at a glance. That's not bad. But if you can't do weekly, check your accounts twice a month, at least once a month. Also, send alerts. Anytime a credit card's used, we get alerts. So someone could do it, but it would be pretty tough because if we see an unusual charge, and of course, even the credit card companies now monitor this stuff, and that's fantastic, but we know. And for things that come out of the bank above a certain amount, we verified that as well. So the nice part about technology, it does make us a little more vulnerable. It also allows us to fight back a little bit to help be proactive. What do you do if you are a victim, if you have been hit? Call your custodian bank immediately. Ideally, have those pass numbers handy. We're going for college visits, and I'm going to Vegas for a conference. When you travel, I carry those phone numbers with me to make sure that I can get to call them as quickly as I need to. You can certainly look up online, but when it comes to responding to these things, you need to be able to act quickly. So if I need to call a credit card company or the bank, I have their numbers right away. Certainly log on, but what if you don't have internet access? Take little steps to increase the probability of success. That's what financial planning is about. That's what investing is about. Take little steps to increase your probability of success. Obviously, change passwords if you think you've been hacked. Freeze credit reports and file fraud alerts. Report to identitytheft.gov, the IRS, or the Social Security Administration, the SSA. File a police report. And our checklist will help as well. Now, you want to make sure you're talking to the right people, but speed and documentation is critical. Document everything. So, as a reminder, get our free Am I at Risk of Having My Identity Stolen or Being a Victim of Fraud by signing up for our newsletter. Protecting your retirement, if you are proactive, is not that hard. But like with financial planning and investing, if you wait until you have fewer options or you're in the heat of the moment, the emotions of the moment, like with estate planning. Estate planning is all about doing everything you can to take the emotion out of a very stressful process for your heirs, or even in the case of incapacitation. So doing a little bit now will save you a ton of time and heartache later. Because in order to have a healthy and wealthy retirement, you don't want to be looking over your shoulder. You don't want to be paranoid. You want to be proactive. You want to enjoy your retirement. Know that you're as prepared as you can be to respond and to protect yourself. Because if you do those things, you're going to have a healthy, a wealthier, and a happier retirement. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends. Share the love. Make sure they have a healthier, a wealthier, and a happier retirement as well. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter for free resources and check out our website and social media pages for exclusive content and updates. See you next time.
Sona Financial, LLC, DBA Sona Wealth and Sona Wealth Advisors, is a registered investment advisor with the state of Minnesota. All views, expressions, and opinions included in this communication are subject to change. This communication is not intended as an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any financial instrument or investment advisory services. Any information provided has been obtained from sources considered reliable, but we do not guarantee the accuracy or completeness of any description of securities, markets, or developments mentioned.